Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever stopped to think about why some words just feel connected? Like unhappy and undo, but then uncle feels totally separate. Or why you can have a cheeseburger but a cheese car sounds, well, wrong. Today, we're going to crack the code of how words are actually built. And trust me, it's a journey that will totally change the way you look at language. Okay, let's jump right in with a little puzzle to get our brains working. Take a look at this word, together. Just going on your first instinct, how many small, meaningful bits do you see inside of it? No wrong answers right now, just what does your gut tell you? You know, if you saw to, get, and her, you're not alone. That's a super logical way to break it down. But what if I told you that, linguistically speaking, that's not actually the right answer? To really get why, we need to uncover the secret building blocks of language. And that brings us to the absolute star of our show today, the morpheme. Morphemes are the heart of a field called morphology, which is basically the study of how words are put together. Right, so there's the official, out-of-the-textbook definition. I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? A minimal unit having more or less constant meaning. Yeah, that sounds way more complicated than it needs to be. So let's just push the jargon aside and talk about what this really means. Here's the bottom line. A morpheme is the absolute smallest piece of a word that still has a meaning. Think of it like a single Lego block of meaning. You can't break it down anymore without it just becoming meaningless noise. So that's the what. But what about the how? How do we actually spot these morphemes in the wild? Well, there's a really cool method linguists use called the productivity test. It's like a secret decoder ring for words, and it's actually pretty simple once you see it in action. Let's walk through it together with the word buyer. Okay, step 1, we've got our word. Step 2, we ask ourselves, can we break this down? Step 3, yeah, it looks like we can. We've got buy and we've got Now for the most important part, step 4, the test. Are these pieces productive? Can we take them and use them to build other words? And the answer is a big, resounding yes. That little part consistently means a person who does something. A teacher is someone who teaches. A driver is someone who drives. A farmer farms. You get the idea. Because we can reuse it over and over with the same meaning, we know for sure that is a real morpheme. This comparison right here makes it all click into place. Look at foolish. Both fool and ish are productive pieces we see in lots of other words. But now look at cherish. Can you take chair and use it anywhere else? Nope. And the ish here definitely doesn't mean kinda like a chair. So foolish has 2 morphemes, but cherish is just one solid block. All right, now that we're armed with our new productivity test, let's go all the way back to our very first puzzle. What's the story with together? Do those little bits to, get, and her actually pass our test? Do their meanings add up to create the meaning of together? And the answer is just one. It's a bit of a trick question. Even though our eyes see the letters for to, get, and her in this specific word, they're not acting as meaningful building blocks. Their separate meanings have nothing to do with what together means. So the whole word together is actually just a single morpheme. Okay, so you're getting the basic idea. But before you run off analyzing every word you see, let's talk about 3 common traps that can really trip people up. If you can avoid these, you'll be a pro word detective in no time. First, and this one is huge, do not, I repeat, do not confuse morphemes with syllables. It's so easy to do, but they are totally different things. Syllables are all about sound and rhythm. Morphemes are all about meaning. This table just shows it perfectly. Take the word cats. It's short, just one syllable, right? Clap it out, cats. But it has 2 units of meaning. The animal, which is cat, and the idea of more than one, which is that S at the end. But then you have a long word like crocodile, 3 syllables, dial. But it's only one chunk of meaning. It's all about the meaning, not the sound. All right, trap number 2 is thinking that if 2 word parts are spelled the same, they must be the same morpheme. But in language, context is everything. Just because they look the same doesn't mean they're doing the same job. Let me show you a classic example. So, we see our old friend again, but check this out. It's doing 2 completely different things here. In taller, that means more. Its job is to compare. But in buyer, that same looking means the person who does the action. Same letters, totally different jobs, which means they are 2 completely separate morphemes. They just happen to look like twins. And for our final trap, you might be wondering, okay, but what about all the weird, irregular words? You know, like how the plural of man is men, or the past tense of go is went. They don't just add a neat little ending. So, do they still have multiple morphemes? Oh yeah, they absolutely do. Let's take men. You can't just tack an S on the end of man. The plural meaning is shown by changing the vowel on the inside. So linguists have a clever way to think about this. They see that the word men is still made of two morphemes, the root, man, plus the sort of abstract idea of plural, which they often just write as PLU. It's their way of saying the meaning of plural is definitely there, even if it's not a tidy little suffix. Okay, now that we have our tools and we know the traps to avoid, let's put our skills to the test on a really fun and genuinely tricky case. This one shows just how alive and changing language is. Let's dive in to the hamburger dilemma. So what do you think? How would you break down the word hamburger? Is it ham plus burger, or is there something else going on? Well, it turns out there are two perfectly good ways to look at this, and the answer really just depends on your point of view. So on one side, you've got the modern view, how we all think about and use the word burger right now. And on the other side, you've got the historical view, the word's origin story, its etymology. And what's cool is that both views give us a different and yet totally correct answer. From a modern point of view, burger has totally become its own super productive morpheme. I mean, think about it. We see it everywhere, right? There are cheeseburgers, garden burgers, shrimp burgers. We all just instinctively know that burger is a type of food, and we can slap almost anything in front of it to create a new kind. But if you go back in time and look at where the word actually came from, it was formed from the name of a city in Germany, Hamburg, plus our old friend the morpheme, meaning from or of. So a hamburger was, literally, just something from Hamburg. So which answer is the right one? Is it ham plus burger or Hamburg plus ear? The amazing thing is they both are. And that just shows you that language isn't some old artifact in a museum. It's a living, breathing thing. We, the speakers, are constantly taking it apart and putting it back together in brand new ways. So the next time you hear a new word, remember the humble morpheme. It's the secret engine of language, always working just under the surface.